Welcome to Heal with Court and Tabi. I'm Court.
I'm Tabi.
And today we're going to talk about some shit.
Yeah.
We
We're going to talk about the topic of being seen and everything around it. We had a little social experiment that we conducted today for the first time, which was really outside of our comfort zone.
It was interesting. We were definitely seen today.
Yeah. So we forced ourselves to be seen in a new way. And we learned so much about random people and even ourselves.
Rejection. I'm like, now my brain's like,
How
I have so many things on it. Yeah, people were so mean to us. So mean. But I don't think people, I think people ruined it for people like us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, you're selling us stuff, you're asking us for money. And we just genuinely wanted people on our YouTube channel. So
to the point where we had to start entering with, we're not selling anything.
Yeah. We're like, can we talk to you? We're not selling anything. And then they were like, oh yeah, sure. What's up? So yeah, we're going to talk. We're diving into what it means to be seen. That's what we were talking about today with a bunch of different people on the streets of Toronto. Went to the Eaton Center and we asked women of all ages, of all races, what it meant for them to be seen. And I think obviously most of the wisdom came from the old, like the responses that filled my heart were from older people. And it's like, I want to realize all of those things because a lot what they were talking about is that they didn't realize until they got older. And I think what I really want to focus on is learning how to feel that way where I am now. Where like one of the girls said that being seen means not feeling the need to be seen.
Yes.
I was like, oh, mic drop.
Yeah, that was such a good moment.
Yeah. And that she had enough confidence in herself. And I think being seen is all about confidence, right? And she had enough confidence in herself to not feel the need to be seen by others because she was able to see herself for exactly who she was. Like, just
that
so
was the
beautiful.
best answer, honestly.
Yeah. And then I don't know what else I know what we encountered, but do you want to share what else we encountered?
Oh my goodness. We were both talking about how, like, if you're not done up in a certain way, you don't come with this confidence to show up as like, I don't know, in a certain way. And you could just see people like, because they weren't ready, and it's like, how many things do we shut ourselves out? I was thinking, just because we're not 100% ready, like when an opportunity knocks on your door, like maybe you're not going to have your hair freshly done and your makeup done or like the perfect outfit.
Yeah.
You can just see that like no one's blatantly really saying this to us, but you could just see that like cowering away of like, no, I'm not ready. And it's totally valid.
Yeah.
Like, we all want to feel good how we show up, but it's like, I think it really brings up a good question of like, how much have we gone to that side of like, we need to look a certain way in order to show up and do certain things.
Yeah. Even touching on that, it made me think about how I was feeling and you saw it. So I was like, I wish I wore fancier clothes to talk to people and approach people because I felt like because I was dressed cozier, people were not taking us seriously.
Yeah.
And, like every time we grow, there's still times that show us who we used to be, right? And falling into old patterns. And it was so funny because I felt like I needed to change how people saw me to be accepted. And that's literally what I was sharing with people, is that for me, being seen means just to show up as exactly who I am and not caring, not without judgment, because people are going to judge no matter what, without caring about any kind of judgment of like from others, or if they're going to think of me differently. Because people can, the thing is that I'm realizing now is that people are always going to have assumptions about who you are, whether they know you well or not. And I think I'm learning to let go of caring about that, because I think I've spent so much time trying to change people's assumptions of, that's not like how you see me is not who I really am. Yeah. Like imagine a whole life of doing that. It's not worth it.
That's really tiring.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's funny that we didn't even make that connection of like when
I was saying
you brought that up about the clothes and the example that you were giving people, because a lot of people were like, what do you mean? Like, what does this even mean? Be seen? What do you mean? Give me an example. So sometimes Courtney and I would throw out examples to them about what does a topic kind of mean for us in a nutshell. And of course, telling them to tell us their authentic, you know, what's the word, like rendition of what it means for them. So we gave them like a very vulnerable example of ourselves. And so that was Courtney's example.
And I was still falling into old patterns, but that's normal. It happens.
Yeah.
I think with growth and off topic, but this has to do with learning to be seen and being comfortable with being seen by yourself, by others, by whatever you believe in, like the universe, God. But kind of, I lost my train of thought there.
Oh,
it'll come back.
It'll
maybe
come back.
It'll come back. Anywho, how do we
it's been
move
a long
from
day.
It has been a long day. I think we probably talked to, I'm gonna say, at least 50 people.
I was just thinking the number 50.
Yeah, because we got rejected at least 5 times before we'd find someone.
Yeah.
That was an intense day.
Of people that we approached versus the number of people that answered, which again, totally understandable. Like, we're random strangers approaching you. We're in Toronto. Like, there's a lot of questionable things going on. People's trust is down. It's fine. But yeah, that just makes me think, like, how closed off people have really become. Like, you don't see people talking to each other like
it's
strangers.
Sad.
And like, me and Courtney really come with good vibes, and like, we're friendly. We don't look threatening. And
she's an extrovert.
We're very friendly and trying to be careful about how we approach people so that they felt safe. And like, oh my God, the way that some people reacted to us was shocking. And it's like, okay, do you? But also it's kind of sad. Like,
it just popped in my head when you said that. And I think it's like a realization that I'm having myself too, is people judge what they don't know because it's the easiest thing to lean into.
Yeah.
When you're scared or when you're kind of like frightened, I don't know what the word would be, apprehensive to something, you're unsure. I think we go immediately to judgment. Like, I felt as though when we were talking to people that were not interested in talking to us, they had such a disturbing look on their face.
Yes.
And I feel like we interact with that all the time. Like, for example, we were in Dundas Square outside. And if you've been to Dundas Square, it's cuckoo bananas over there.
The light is like, yes.
Confirmation, yes. If you've been to Dundas Square, it's the cuckoo bananas there. And there was a guy that was singing. And I think so many people were like annoyed and mad about it.
Yeah.
But we were kind of just like, get it, guy, get it. And it makes me sad to think that, I don't know, people are even uncomfortable with how others are seen. Not even how you want to be seen, but how others see themselves and how they're okay to be seen.
It's like, how can you be okay doing this?
Yeah.
And there it comes into the judgment.
And it's like the unknown comes with judgment all the time.
Yeah.
I think we need to break that, because I can even admit that sometimes I do that. When something is very out of my comfort zone and someone else is doing it, I'm like, what would make someone want to do something like that? Okay, we're back. Our light died. It may be looking a little bit different, but back on the same conversation. So yeah, anyways, where I was going with all of that was just, when it comes to being seen, when it comes to not just seeing ourselves, but also seeing others, and vice versa, how others see us. I think what it all comes down to is, if we just knock down ego and judgment, we could be, like, we are scared to be seen because of judgment.
Yeah.
But the people that judge us the worst are ourselves.
Yeah.
And then when other people judge us, we feel even worse about ourselves. Like, if we could knock that whole thing down, but where do you even start, right?
I bet it's like people who, and this might be a bold statement, this could be a conversation, but I think probably people who are more judgmental on, not like, with others, but with themselves, are the most afraid possibly of being seen, because they know, like, they have it in their mind that everyone thinks like them. I can say that for myself. Like, I'm always scared. I was always scared of that very much, because I wanted to be seen a certain way so much in my own eyes and other people's eyes that, like, I don't know, I assumed everyone's like judging everyone so hard, and like as if I'm so important that everyone's eyeballs are on me.
Yeah, like the more we judge ourselves, the more we judge others as well. And vice, like other way around like as well.
Evil cycle. And it doesn't even like, it's not necessarily out of like a bad place.
No, it's programmed almost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this fear program of like,
yeah. Yes, if the fear, like everything I think stems down to fear. And I talk about that a lot, like on my platforms, that when it comes to fear, maybe this is a bit off topic, but I think our biggest fear in life is the fear of death. And Robin Sharma, he's a great author, he talks about this a lot. He says that when you think about any fear that you have, it all relates to either fearing your life ending one day or fearing death, like instinctually, right?
Really?
Like when you think about a spouse, right? Marrying someone, sometimes people will just pick somebody because they fear dying alone.
They don't want to be alone,
you know? Or when you think about opportunities that come up, sometimes people will take opportunities that are not meant for them just because they fear that, you know, if, oh, this job will make me a bunch of money, so I'm not going to do what I'm passionate about because I want to live a good life. And when I die, you know, like everything kind of like, I don't want to regret anything when I die. But then I think also, and I love this topic when it comes to the fear of death, there's also a huge fear in pursuing. And that's where I think I touch on the fear of death is okay. The fear of death has its place, right? Like, like
it's real.
Fear of death, if you fear it properly, it can really help you because it can encourage you to do things because you want, like for me, I want to leave something when I die. So everything that I do is really a product of what I want to offer the world when I'm not here anymore, right?
Okay.
But the fear of pursuing, and I think this relates really well with being seen, when you fear not to pursue something, not to pursue who you are, not to pursue your most authentic self, pursue opportunities, pursue careers, pursue love, relationships, anything. If you fear pursuing, that's so detrimental to the success that you could have, the fulfillment that you could have, the joy, the happiness. And I think that ties in really well. Do you think it fits in well with being seen and the fear of that?
I think it like very indirectly makes sense because this actually just came up like that free online masterclass that I did. It had to do a lot about like consciously creating your future self and the life that you want.
Okay.
So you have to be very intentional. And I was giving an example that I noticed happens to me. So like, let's say you want to make a list of like a brain dump of like all your desires.
Yeah.
I have caught myself many times. I have a desire in my mind. By the time my pen touches the paper, I pull myself back.
Freeze. Yeah.
Because it's like my either my subconscious belief about myself or whatever is like, no, you can't, or like that's too big. Right. And then you don't even allow yourself to dream, never mind pursue. Like if you don't even allow yourself to dream first, you can't pursue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you afraid that if you try, you'll fail? And then if you try and fail, that other people see you as a failure. And then that's the way you're seen, or you see yourself as a failure rather than, okay, I tried this. It wasn't for me. Or I just, I learned, I failed. Now I know how to do better next time. But like, I think it does tie into being seen in this like really sneaky, like undercover way.
Yeah. Yeah. And where I was thinking too is that I feared so much just pursuing who I am. Like pursue, like it's as simple as I can put it. Just allowing myself to be who I am and be seen, like pursuing being seen. And I wanted just so much acceptance. And this is where we talk about judgment again. I was so terrified of judgment at one point. I still have moments like today. I was still in that headspace a little bit, fighting a fear. That's when all of our past things come up, right? But yeah, I was so fearful of that for a long time that I I never pursued what I wanted to do. The smallest thing, like, you know, at a talent show or, you know, like just
something's coming to me while you're talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just thought, like, to pursue your dreams or to pursue the things that you really want to do, not what your parents told you to do, not what you think your spouse will be happy if you do, is to live life authentically, is to be seen as your true authentic self.
Yeah.
Truly. So, like,
what do you think that means?
What happens, you know, when your authentic dreams aren't what society has showed you?
Yeah.
Or like there's familial, societal, relational, like there's so many factors of like how we can internalize what's expected of us. So what does that show you when your own authentic dreams and pursuing that, you know, how does that make you be seen by others when it shows you that you're going to be seen by others in a way where they're looking down on you, and it makes you smaller? You're not going to pursue yourself, and you're never going to be seen as your true self.
Yes. And touching on that, side note, but I heard something a long time ago, and it sticks with me so much, that people that are doing something will never put you down. It's the people that do nothing.
I totally
that will want you to feel smaller. And I have found so much peace in the whole judgment part. When people judge me, I just send so much love and compassion, especially like petty hate. Like we were just talking about this. Like, what are you doing that you have, like, if you have time to put someone down, you can use that time in different, like elsewhere, you know? And I feel in my place, the only thing that I have time for is to meet like-minded people where we can lift each other up.
Yeah.
And there's no space for judgment. Like I've created such a strong community, and it's still continuing to grow, that I'm so proud of, that it only fills me up. It only lifts me up. And there's not any space for judgment, where, because I've created that community, I mentally as well have filled my brain, my heart, my soul with so much acceptance and compassion, that even when I have moments where it's like doubt and stuff, like you know what came up today, where I was like, oh, we should dress better or whatever. You were dressed great. I was like, I should have dressed this, I should have worn a hoodie. I don't know.
We were both in track clothes.
We were cozy. But yeah, I was like, oh, I should have dressed better, blah 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 blah. But I feel like it passed so quickly, because in my head I was just like, I'm exactly who I want to be. And the people that, you know, the people that judged us and were terrible to us and mean to us, we don't want those people in our life. And the people that we connected with and that we got to share time with today, it filled my cup. You know? And it's so easy to fill up on how people see you and how it affects your status and your ego. It's so easy to fill up on that and just go into a well of self-doubt and self-hate.
Yeah.
But it's also pretty easy if you open your eyes to a whole other side of it, where there's so many people waiting for you on your side. Yeah. And like random strangers. Like, I don't know for you, but most of my community have been people I've never met before, that hype me up every post I put out, podcast, like whatever it is. Than the people that I thought were going to be there on my side, you know? And I think that ties in again with being seen, is sometimes people are never going to see you the way you want to be seen.
Yeah. Like you can try so hard, but it's like you can't control someone else, and you can try to like alter your tone and the way you speak and the energy that you show up with and the way you dress and blah, 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 all the factors. But like what it comes down to, I think, is like there is that like law of attraction or law of vibration, where like really you're gonna attract what you are. And like the people who did talk to us, these are people that like they were
electric.
Like they were cool, and they were the type of vibe that we wanted. And so when Courtney had her little moment where the past came back, you know, and she was talking about the clothes, like we talked about earlier in our conversation, and I said to her, like, we don't want to talk to those people. Like, if they don't want to talk to us, well, we are here in our tracksuits, cozy winter girls. Like, we don't need to talk to them because they're not the right people. And so we wouldn't even we probably wouldn't have attracted the nice, honest people that we talked to and that we got on video, you know, if we were dressed up in a different way, because we're not being authentic.
Yeah. And either way, we bring the energy. Like, there was a girl that we interviewed today, and she said that being seen goes beyond what's seen by the eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. Yeah. Because I've come to a place, like, obviously when you're a kid and when you're in high school and stuff, visually, that's what people appeal to, right? And you want to hang out with the most prettiest, the most cutest, whatever. You want the cutest guy in the classroom or whatever it is, right? And I think now I've come to a place where today we didn't pay any attention to what people look. The only thing we were doing is like, talk to the girl in the pink hair.
Look at her.
Yeah.
Don't be creepy.
But it was like their energy. Like, it was, I feel as though when you're on such a high place, like a high energy of just being okay to be whoever you are and accepting yourself, you attract that, you know? And I think for me today, there's still times where like I have to challenge, but I'm not that girl in high school anymore that needs to feel accepted based on how she looks, because I'll always have my people. And I don't think wearing a sweater and a puffer vest and outside in the cold is gonna determine who I am. Or like, I think it's cute. Like
you're gonna laugh about this as you fall asleep and be like, why was I even thinking about that? Right? Like,
but we have our moments, and I think it's important to share it on stuff like this, that like healing is never linear, you know? And go backwards, like I have an unalome tattooed on my sternum because it's like a daily reminder that your path could go up, down, side, backwards. Like it never is just straight ahead. And I think it's important to talk about that, even though we are talking about right now with being okay with being seen, there's some days that we're not okay with it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And you can choose. And like, it's a really touchy subject. Like, so many people or so many women had a very strong reaction to our question. And it's like, we knew that this is actually a very heavy question. It's very deep. And we got some very funny responses where they're like, I'm not ready to go there. I'm not ready for like an existential crisis question. Like no problem.
One girl got like very emotional and she didn't want to do it. But I think asking those questions are important because it's things that we don't like. And what does it mean for you to be seen?
We didn't ask each other. So
I couldn't even get into it like myself. It was, for me, I was still tiptoeing on the surface when I was giving examples with people, because it is like, I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it.
Yeah. It's such a big topic. For me, being seen is a huge battle in my own life. Like, the biggest part it comes out in for me was dance. And like, every time I've had some sort of a natural talent, or I have embarked on a journey where I would have to step into the place where like I own something. It's like I would always end up the one who failed or who didn't move forward. And it was never because of talent or lack of knowledge or lack of interest. It was simply because I was the one who was not ready to be recognized as someone who was worthy of being recognized for something. It's like everything that I can think of, every aspect of being seen, I'm not comfortable with. Like, I hate taking pictures. Like, since I've met Courtney is the most I've ever been on camera. And it's like huge.
What are you talking about? I'm never on camera.
Like, so it's interesting how like the right dynamics and the right people can bring you out of your comfort zones and like expand you. But it's just like, even for example, I would never eat somewhere alone. Like, this is so mundane.
Because you don't want people to see you eating by yourself, or is it the feeling?
No, because I feel like all the eyeballs are on me and I want to hide. I don't want to be seen, like, because I'm not like 100% confident with how I look. Like, I'm always nitpicking at like everything on my face, on my body, my hair. Like, it's like a never ending cycle, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure so many people, especially women, I 100%. Truly believe it's what's ingrained in us from little girls.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the media, and it's just like any topic I think of in my life, it's like connects to being seen. And then it's like, if you are seen, do you have the capacity, the confidence, the strength to stand
to handle it?
Yeah. And it's like, when you see someone who's doing that in a really like not a cocky way, a confident way, where they like, they know their worth, and like they're holding that space, and they know
an
like
authentic way.
Like, I deserve this, and I deserve this recognition, or to be seen this way. Or like, back to dance, like, you know, let's say a woman who walks out on the stage and she's like, this is where I'm meant to be. She can own it because she feels that, and the eyes on her doesn't matter. It feeds her, actually, right? For me, it was always the opposite. It's like, eyeballs on me does not feed me. It like kills me from the inside. So it's like, that's for me, like, trying to rebuild my own self-concept and my own comfort levels with. So I stopped getting in my own way. But anyways, that was super long-winded. I would love to hear.
No. I have so many things I want to say back to that. I think when it comes to social media, being seen is very different than what it is when you're in person. Right? And when I started, I'll get to what I think it is, which is just a little detour. When I started posting content and really was like, I'm going to make it as a content creator, I did not want to post any of my own things or ideas that I had. I wanted to mimic everything that everyone else was doing.
Like trends or something.
Like, or, you know, if someone was sharing something vulnerable, I just wanted to twist it a bit and share how my vulnerable side of things, you know, and it wasn't until I was putting out content that I thought was going to just fail. Like, I was like, oh, nobody cares about this, you know? And it wasn't following a trend. It wasn't fitting, you know, inspired by any other videos.
It was just your authentic idea.
It was just me. And that's when I was getting engagement, and people were reaching out saying like, oh, this really stuck with me. Or, you know, like a few weeks ago, I put a episode out about just how hard it's been lately battling with like my eating, like, you know, having eating issues and overeating and you know, depriving my body. Like, we could trigger we could
say that 2 minutes ago.
I could talk about that all day, but I put out that episode and I thought that people were just gonna think that I'm weak, and that talking about that shows that I haven't healed. And instead I had like this random stranger reach out and say that it feels so good to see someone going exactly what I do, like going through exactly what I'm going through. And that's where I think all the magic lies with being okay with being seen. Because now it's like where you're talking about with the confidence, where it just comes natural. I used to always think that those type of people, I'm sure we can think of someone even in elementary school where it's like they were just so okay with being exactly who they wanted to be.
And we're like, the audacity.
And I always thought that, like they never worry about anything and they just are like that. But I think that when you have a good community in the beginning, it has so much to do. And that's where I'm kind of leaning in with, what does being seen mean to me? For the first part of it, it's just completely letting go to why I was not okay with being seen as a little girl. And why people, you know, when people told me about my body or about my weight, about this, about that, and how it started to make me want to hide who I am physically, emotionally, like you know, I was too much. I was too excited all the time. I talked too much.
Everyone
this
has an
and that,
opinion.
right? And then if you were too quiet, you were shy and didn't want to go out of your, you know, I was not shy. I've never been shy.
This girl's not shy.
But being seen to me means, you know, where we talk about authenticity, for a long time I didn't know what that meant, but now I've learned that my authentic self is so amazing. And I like the example I shared with you. I keep like going back and forth on what I want to talk about. But the example I shared with everyone was that being seen to me meant letting go of me thinking that I need to be someone else around different people, and just embracing exactly who I am authentically and being seen as that. But then when I started working on that, I was like, well, what does it mean to be authentic? Like, what does yourself. Yeah, like what does authenticity even mean? Because everybody talks about it like it's a trend, but nobody actually knows how to do it. and I'm like, oh, okay. So
when it's
like,
really just the easiest thing ever.
Yeah, like just do things that you like and that light you up, and then it just kind of all falls in together. Like that's what my authentic self is like. If, when we were listening to music, that guy was singing in Dundas Square and I was cheering him on, old me would have been definitely like, oh, the people around me are going to judge me because they think this guy is a little cuckoo. But I was like, this guy's like he's out on a whim here, performing his heart out. Like that came from the depths of his soul.
He was singing from the depths of his soul.
And so what does being seen mean to me? It means just being exactly who I am and not giving a fuck if someone's looking or not.
So being seen, it's like when we say be seen, it sounds like an external experience, but really at the core of it, it's an internal experience
100%
that we're externalizing.
Goosers.
We just got down to it, right?
Yeah,
because really it's all going back to that what that girl said about how it's, what did she say?
It goes beyond the eyes.
No, about how she's comfortable with herself.
Oh,
so she doesn't care what other people think, right?
She said being seen to her meant being, what did she say? I said it already, but
said something along those lines.
She said like to not have to be seen by others.
Yeah.
Being okay with not being seen. And because she's confident enough that she sees exactly who she is. Right. And I think that's what it has nothing to do, like you said, it has nothing to do with the eyes that are looking at you, and everything to do with what you're looking at when you look in the mirror, when you are by yourself and thoughts come into your mind, when you respond to like how you respond to situations, how you interact with people, like just who you are at the core, and being okay with who that is at the core.
Yeah, because when you're in a situation where you're thinking or worrying about what someone else thinks of you, right? Yeah. You're not actually worrying about what they think of you. You don't even know them, maybe. Yeah. You're actually thinking of, it's like tell me if you experience this, it's like your brain processing at 1,000,000 miles per second everything that you think is wrong with you.
Yes.
And that's what you're experiencing. And what you're saying is, what's that person thinking?
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not really what's happening there.
No. It's like that saying, how does it go, where like how people treat you is just a reflection of how they feel themselves or whatever. And it's like, it's so true. Like what you assume that other people feel for you is just a reflection of how you feel for yourself. Like if you feel like you're being annoying, or if you think that someone else thinks you're annoying, you have no idea
that
what
literally
they're
happened
thinking.
with us. I thought I was driving Courtney like absolutely insane.
She did. Well, she wasn't driving me insane. No, she thought that.
I thought like a last time that we were together, and she's just like, please stop apologizing. Like, because I was annoyed by me because I was getting triggered by my own behavior because I was being self-conscious, right? And it was like bleeding out in all these fun ways.
But I've been there, so that's why I understand. Yeah. But like people probably have told you that that's not okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And she's just like,
whoever that was. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I'm so bad for saying sorry, but I get like so like, stop it when someone says sorry to me. And I think it's, we have empathy for our own behaviors, right? Like when someone is going through something we went through, we're like,
it's okay. I get it. It's
you're
fine.
Good. Let it go. I get what you're going through. Yeah, we'll probably be wrapping up soon. Yeah. Right? This is a really nice chat.
Yeah. It's good. We learned so much today.
We do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just constantly.
Yeah. She's like, shut the fuck up, Courtney, and listen to me, and this is how it's going to go. And I'm like, okay, Tabi.
And
then we grew.
But Courtney kept us outside. Like I was so checked out and like ready to give up. If she wasn't there, let me tell you, the last
usually you're the one to challenge me. So I'm glad I was able to challenge you today.
Oh my God, it was a challenge. So
you were like,
you
were like indirectly begging and pleading to come home. You're like, oh,
like
know,
a hostage.
Yeah. But like indirectly, like she was like, I'm sure we can find people on the walk home. I'm like, no, we're not going home. We're in the mall, and I'm like making her walk up and down. And she's like, nobody's here. I'm like, there's millions of people in this mall. It was not millions, but
yeah, it was. We were out for hours.
We got, how many steps did we get? 10,000. We hit our daily
in a
goal.
couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we people watch, we absorb so many behaviors because like when do you really go outside? Well, there's people watching, but like when do you go outside just to do that? Like we were like
to talk to people. It was so fun though.
It was so fun.
Yeah, we should go sage ourselves, get that like energy.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
All right, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Tabi, any last words before we hop off? Nope. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm so tired.
Just like, I want to go home and see my dog. Anywho, thank you so much for joining, and we'll probably put out more videos.
Yeah,
we will.
We will.
If you couldn't tell, this was very much on theme with our upcoming event, Be Seen, Explore the Woman Within, on February 8th. It's located downtown Toronto, and it's a night of fucking a good time. That's the only way I could describe it.
That was the best way you could have.
Yeah.
Honestly,
there is breath work. There's feminine embodiment. We are having an amazing woman come and do some spoken word. There is a mini photo shoot. There's cocktail hour. There's dancing in the dark. And the tickets right now are only $60 until the end of January. They will be going up. So get your ticket. I'll put the description below, or information in the description below. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for talking with me.
Thanks for talking with me. And thanks for all the ladies who stopped and talked to us.
Yeah. If you want to see that video, it's coming shortly, or maybe it's already on my page. So go check it out.
Bye.
Bye.